me! Jessica! I'm in here!
Good morning, you guys. Hi, Maria. Maria. I need to add that as a sound alert so you can redeem it every time. Hi, Monte. What's up, cutie? How are you? Star with the 10 stream streak. Let's go. Maria. Oh.
And a large popcorn.
A large.
Oh my God.
Money. He got money. Get it all for him.
Get it all for him. Thank you, Maria, for the biddies. 100 biddies. I appreciate you. I hope everyone's having a good morning. I have my coffee here, guys. I'm finishing up my. I have egg and cheese on toast. That's my breakfast. And I have a coffee. He got money. Get it all for him. That's the new sound alert for bits and donos. How's everybody doing this morning? Can I have one? Here, you can have it. Anything you want, Monte. I'll give it to you. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Honestly, I love Fridays. Don't worry, Monte, I made two. We're gonna do R&B this morning. Honestly, let's just switch cams. Hi. Happy Friday. Can you keep? This song is so good. Gorgeous, stunning, gorgeous, stunning. I'm thinking we're gonna play Sims. I really want to do a legacy challenge on stream, and I have my own legacy that I've been working on. But I, ooh, that shirt is cute. Gimme, gimme. I got it as a gift, but I think it's H&M. It's pretty thick too. Like I kind of wear this over stuff, like over hoodies and stuff, as an over like a jacket. Ryan saying all that just to not check in himself. Can somebody tell Ryan to check in? Ryan firing shots in training, but he hasn't checked in yet. Hi, Allie. Good morning, guys. Got everybody else got their coffee? It dribbled over the side. Sorry. 15 streams. Let's go, Monte. Check in, nerd. Yeah, literally. What's Yeah, I think we're gonna play Sims. Maybe we'll make a household together and try to do a legacy together. And then when we play, there you go, Ryan. Someone's helping. Yeah, maybe we can get a legacy going, and then when we this way we can start playing Sims more on stream and like get through this legacy challenge. Hi, babe. Welcome in. Thank you for checking in. Oh. Ryan with 41 check-ins. Ali, how many check-ins do you have? Let's see. Ali has 51 check-ins. That is crazy. Ali, you're honestly so real for that. You're so real for coming in every day and checking. Oh, I saw that. The Dunkin' Ice bucket. I saw that. That sounds like it's gonna give me a tummy ache. That sounds like it's gonna give me a tummy ache. But Dunkin' has like really sweet coffee too. Um, what? There's a few legacy challenges I've seen. I have never done the not so berry, which is like a color coded one. Pretty simple. By Lil Simsy. Each air here, I'll even. I think I can show my. Since it's already open, but here, let me. Excuse me. um, yeah, let's read this. Each heir must represent the color of their generation, hair, makeup, clothing. The colors of the spouses doesn't matter. And then money cheats can be used, but not excessively. Like, yeah, I probably won't use money cheats. I probably just use build cheats. You may live wherever you please, unless something is specified. Every generation is supposed to complete the career and aspiration of their era, unless explicitly stated. Keep the lifespan normal, and if you play this challenge, we want to share it with us. Go ahead and post. Not so very so we can see. So generation one is mint, rose, yellow, gray, plum, orange, pink, peach, green, blue. Would we be down for that? This sounds like fun. It's like very low lived, very creative. Okay, gonna lock in on training. Bye, Ryan. Thank you. Ali. Ali. Yeah, it's because I stream at all these random hours, and Mark is like right now. Mark's at work, so he just comes in and he just checks in, and he'll only play if we're playing DBD. To be honest. For y'all who didn't know, Kruzma, aka Mark, is my boyfriend. He's been coming around a little bit more, but try to make sure we have boundaries together. I respect his privacy. So he's never really on camera on the mic, but he's always around. He's always. He always makes sure to get the check in. But it's okay, Ali. You guys have a little competition going, lurking in the shadows. Yeah, he's like. I see. Hi, boyfriend. Yes. Yeah, that's babe. That's why every time he comes in, I'm like, hey, babe. But he won't chat. He'll just come in to get his check in and he'll hang out for a little bit. He's like, yeah, whatevs. I can't let these. Yeah, literally. Hi, what's up, Esteban? What's up? Thank you for the check-in. How are you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Olis, ¿cómo estás hoy? How are you doing? We're gonna play Sims. Ali, you know what? It really just this is all I think Ali. Wait, what's this button do? They added what's this? What? Oh, they added this like in Sims 3. So now they added microtransactions to Sims 4. Interesting. Sky. Download manager. Interesting. Obvious. I'm good. How are you? Morning coffee time with Justin. We need Micah Sims commentary. Yeah, literally. Um,
Yup, 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 yup.
everyone get your coffee. We're gonna play some Sims for a few hours. Not very long today, just 2 hours. Um, and yeah, Ali, I think I'm down. I'm down to do that challenge. So like this legacy challenge. I have to fix the window. In the face. Oh, it's because I see. It's because the window's not the same size. Get your coffee, everyone. Ooh, legacy challenge. Yeah, I think we're gonna do this not so berry challenge. The first one is mint, so honestly, we can I want to load in the same world as my other legacy because I have I think what I'm gonna do is load game. I'm gonna load the game. We'll create the character and then we'll just save it as a new world. How about that? As a new save. Esteban, how was your week? Where do we want to live? There's so many builds here that oh, this is the adventure one where the campsites are. Who the fuck are these people? Maybe. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do mint. Okay, so the first legacy is mint. Here, let's take down the rules. Okay, so the first challenge is mint, like the first character, and you're a mischievous scientist that really loves the color mint. You're career driven, but still make time for silly pranks and outings with your closest friends. You love luxury and want the best for yourself and your family. Traits: vegetarian, jealous, materialistic, chief of mischief, scientist. Rules: master the science career, complete chief of mischief aspiration, master mischief and logic, and complete elements collection. Okay, that doesn't sound too hard. But we have to complete that before he dies or she dies. So let's where should we live? Okay, It's an evil, mischievous scientist. I'm thinking like more like biologist, like somebody who likes like plants and chemical versus chemicals. You know? How are we feeling about that? Like someone living in like honestly all these places are like cities. Oh, maybe someplace like an island, like understanding ecology, being like a mischievous scientist on an island. It was good. I'm playing while I watch, so I might just be lurking. Oh, that's fine with me. No worries. Mischievous scientist, you say? Yes. Yeah, like some sort of mischievous ecologist, like someone studying the ocean, or like, I'm alive. You're alive, Verde. Come in. Hi, Verde. Get your check in. Yes. 19. Let's go. We're almost hitting 20. Green. Green. We're playing Sims. We're starting a new legacy challenge. So we're starting a new legacy challenge on stream so that I have something to come back to. I just feel like I'm so invested in that other character on my own that I just kind of like playing her offline. Resident scientist Taco in the house. Wait, is Taco a scientist, guys? I didn't know that. I don't know a lot about Taco. I really don't. Taco is hella a scientist. Wait, are we gonna create this character based on Taco? So I think what we'll do today is create our character, start our career, and build our house. How's that? Excuse me. Not that this is based. Why is this person, Moody and McMillan? He has 3 horses, a dog, 3 dogs, 4 dogs in this house. Is it bad that I'm gonna? I evicted them. He published 4 papers of research. Wait, Taco is honestly that's kind of crazy. Are you gonna? Yep. Allie, you know me too well. Evict. Um, cause Loki, I want to live there, and we'll just edit it up. How about that? Are we okay with that? Was that horrible? Did I just displace a family? I did. But are we about to create the best family ever based on Taco? Sure. Yes, we are. It happens. Oh, I opened it and it was a woman. Do we want to change it to a man? I don't mind it a woman. She's okay. She kind of a baddie. Like, why she got a body? She's kind of a baddie. Let's work on her traits first. She has the devious. No, it's mischievous aspiration. Chief of mischief. Yeah. Okay, baddie for sure. Like, this is clearly Taco. This couldn't be more like Taco, actually.
Oh.
Let's change the game. Also, guys, tomorrow we're playing Peak on stream tomorrow night. She's kind of a baddie, and she's styled out. Oh, I forgot to put my cheats in. There's a oh, it doesn't work when I'm in it doesn't work when I'm in Create a Sim. Oh well. The Sims always have the biggest feet, and I really like. Oh, okay. Chief of Mischief. What else? What are her aspirations? Um, vegetarian. Where's vegetarian? Oh, vegetarian. Jealous. Damn. Jealous.
Open.
And materialistic. Oh. I don't know if I want to make this girl based off of Taco because I don't think he's any of these things.
A bruiser?
Materialistic? Jealous? A vegetarian? I don't even think about Taco's a vegetarian. I could be wrong. I don't think so though. Oh, there's materialistic.
Samola mola.
Pick a cause of death. Predetermined death? No, I don't want to predetermine that. We'll do color preferences or green. And
Yippee!
honestly, we could do whatever we want. Like, let's see where she takes us. I want to make her likes like pranks and jokes. Mischief, yeah.
Cupetta? Wimbossy!
Some characteristics. Oh, like who she. Okay, yeah. What kind of sim is she? That's a raid. Wait, who's raiding me? Oh my god, Skya! Thank you for raiding, friend. Hi, Momo. Welcome in. Momo, how are you doing, Momito? Skya, I was in your stream. I'm like listening to myself now. Now, Justin, I don't know if I gave you permission to make me into a sim because that's clearly me. Momo, like, you a baddie. Like, look at this. Buenos dias. Hi, Momo. Momo, get your check in. We're having coffee. We're playing Sims. My stream died multiple times, Brad. No way. What were you playing again? Here, let's get a shout out for Skya. We love Katamari reroll. What the heck is that? Make it a Tacomo. Hold on. Thank you for lurking, Skya. Or thank you for lurking, Momo. Sorry, I was reading your name. Thank you for lurking, Momo. Yes, come back soon. We'll only be here for a little bit. Oh, and Momo. Oh, yes. A Motako. Should that just be her name? Tacomo. That could be her last name. That sounds like a last name, right? Yeah. Momo's kind of a scientist. ¿Qué pasa? We were saying, so we're doing a legacy challenge, Momo, where our first generation has to be a scientist. And Green and Ali were telling me that Taco's a scientist, and I didn't know that. Like, is a published scientist. I had no idea. So we were gonna base this character on him, but then her characteristics are kind of rude and mean. I don't think that's like Taco at all. Of not being. I know it was some fun, absolute fever dream game. Oh, how are you? This week was really busy. I had 3 interviews this week. That I thought went really well, but we'll see what it all turns into. Yeah, like I don't think he's like materialistic or a vegetarian or jealous. Yeah, I had 3 interviews this week. I had 1 final interview and then 2 other interviews and another one scheduled for next week. I don't know. We'll see what my life will look like. I'm honestly like at the point where I just kind of want to feel comfortable. Yeah, it was a final interview. I don't know how it went. Like I don't know how I feel about it, but I won't really hear back until Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah, because of the holiday. What should we name her? What should we name our scientist? Maybe we come up with a name, but let's dress her then. She's mint. She kind of already is there with this vibe. Like, I don't mind the head. Like, it's green or mint. Let's see. Let's go back to it. Color mint. Okay, so this is not mint. You know what we can do though? Oh, We can apply a filter, color, green, just to see all. I like this headdress. She's kind of pretty. We kind of started off really well. Thank you, Sky. By the way, I went to a doctor on Tuesday and Wednesday, right? Got a call from doc yesterday. What pills I need to start consuming daily? Yeah, because you probably are like iron deficiency, magnesium. Yeah. And that's really common in women to have like deficiencies in certain vitamins. I'm sure you'll start feeling better too once you start taking them. No. Okay, see, this is more like mint. We'll just give her a top hat. Honestly, maybe no hat. I also don't really like this hair. There are better hairs. Just it is. Like, this is a cute hairstyle. Look at these little buns, these little poops.
Ooh.
Never deficient in coffee. Literally. Guess my drinking money will now go on meds. Oh no, Skya. You gotta stick around, you know, you gotta take care of yourself. This is cute too, this little top bun. I think I like this. I wish this band could change colors. This is cute too. Wait. Wait. The pulled back hair. I kind of like this. This is also very cute. This up, half down. Hi, Rennie. Welcome in. How are you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. How'd you find us today? Playing Sims? Ani, Ronathan.
Thank you.
For 4 months, Ronnie. That's crazy.
You love me. You really love me.
Psychiatrist, yes, I'm so happy. Yeah, I'm so happy you're getting all this stuff done, like to take care of yourself, because you're incredible and we need you around. Like, life would be so different without you, and you being sick, we all get worried about you. I think, okay, I think I'm stuck between this half up, half down, and the pulled back pony, or puff. Dong, great. My phone froze. No. Hi, Ronnie. Welcome in. Rennie, my name's Justin. We're here to hang out and like have a good time. I'm having coffee this morning. We're starting our Lil Simsy Not So Berry Legacy Challenge on stream today, so we can have something to play on stream with Sims. Yeah, go do what you gotta do, Skya. Thank you for coming in. Rennie, we have a check-in in chat, and our channel points redeem if you wanna do that and start your check-in counter. And we're honestly just a cute little community, and we just kind of like having a goofy time. Chat likes to make fun of me and laugh at me. Ask Allie, but I deserve it. You know, I kind of put myself in those situations. We play all kinds of games on here. Sims, Pokemon games, horror games. We're not really into first-person shooters really anymore, but I also think I've just like been exhausted by it. Get your check-ins, yeah. Who laughs at you? Allie. Allie laughs at me. I like that hair the most, I think, because the clip is giving, I've been working so hard, but still cute. Yeah, it's giving, the clip gives, it gives, after a long day of pranking people, I need to sit back and take a break. Take a break. All right, let's fix her eyebrows. They're a little too pointy. Like, look at how strong her eyebrows are. Oh, wait. Oh, she's so cute. Not me falling in love with this sim. I'm obsessed with her already. This is nice. I like this. I want her to be unassuming mischief. You know what I mean? Like someone who people don't assume is mischievous, but she literally is a prankster. Totally changed her face. Yeah, literally just the eyebrows. But I like everything else. The eyebrows are just scary. That's why I draw my eyebrows accordingly. I love that. She is so gorgeous. I think she's a scientist, so let's give her some glasses, maybe. Um, or an eye patch, something cute like that. Would that look good with green? Because she's gonna be wearing all green. Like she's gonna have green everywhere. Mint anyway. She already has mint eyeliner or eyeshadow. I think it would help if I didn't have glasses on. Look at her eyes, like everything. She is such a cutie, and this was like the default character. Unibrow, not anymore, Allie. I'm dead. That's so funny. And then I always like to give like a brown or like dark red lip. Okay, let's um let's establish who she is. Do we still only have green? No, we need to put the colors up. And it's mint. Remember, it's mint and not just green. Like it's more like this. Which I mean, that's a great shirt for everyday wear. Should we just give her some shorts? Coach pants. Standard. Jean. Oh! I didn't even know that that was the back of the shirt. The facial expressions are killing me. The way her eyes like just like move, they're like tracking. Maybe a different shirt. That's not mint. That's more like olive. Make it. Is that mint? This is mint for sure. Honestly, this makes sense for a scientist. A little collar. I like this with some shoes, some sneakers. Oh well, I guess she's on the beach, you know. So maybe some sandals, something like this. Oh, or the Birkins? Yeah, the Birkins. She's wearing Birkins, guys. She's a cutie. We're not gonna go OD with the green, but green will be in her outfit. You know what I mean? Okay, bye, Ronnie. Wait, what are you packing for? What are you packing for, Ronnie? She's a scientist that got that the Birkenstocks. Yeah, like look at that. And then I love the nails in this game. Remove this. We need something green. Oh, that's nice. Oh my god, these would be crazy. Oh my god. I like with the jewels, and we'll apply these nails to all outfits. And honestly, she has her toes done. Like, what kind of baddie doesn't have her toes done? I just go for like standard white because I think that painting your toes the different colors on The Sims feels weird. Going to a birthday party 3 hours away, spending the weekend there. Okay, bye now. Bye, Ronnie. Thank you for stopping in. Thanks for getting your check-in. And I hope you drive safe, and I hope you enjoy your weekend. Okay, the baddie is baddieing. Okay, let's go for a professional outfit. Let's apply the hair to everything. We're gonna have to remove that from. Why does she have a hearing aid in? She doesn't have a hearing aid default, but then when she puts on her professional outfit, she puts on her hearing aid.
I love you, bitch.
Oh my god.
Oh my
I ain't gonna never
god!
stop loving you, bitch.
Let's go, Allie. Allie with the Allie with the gifted to green. I ain't never gonna stop loving you, bitch. That notification. We finally heard it. Yep, you paid her ad jail bail. I know that's right. Oh wait, we forgot earrings. Hold on, earrings. Now, okay, would she have other piercings? Like, would she have an eyebrow piercing? Not that one. Not that one either. She might have a nose piercing. Oh, she had glasses on too, didn't she? I like those better. She's such a cutie. She's gonna be such a bad person. Let's find something that's green. Something mint. The flower ones. That's so extra. Oh, those are cute. Those are kind of mint. Ice cream cones? No, I like the ones we had. Yeah, I like these two. Ooh, the carabiner. This is actually kind of cute. But it's not mint. Are those waves? Wait. They're like waves. Okay, wait, Allie, which ones? These ones, the hoops? Or these wave ones? Because she lives on an island. Funny. The wave ones work for her, right? Because she's like a marine biologist, ecologist situation. Golly gee, what is this fit? She's gonna be a pantsuit girly. You know what I mean? Like she's gonna wear a blouse. But see, these are all different greens. Like I want. Maybe we can take off feminine and find some masculine ones too. None of that was mint. It was all just like dark green. That's blue. That's not even green. Guys, this is this green? Let's be honest. This doesn't look green to me. Ooh, this is cute. I wish it came in mint. Maybe something like this. What is this under? What is this bodysuit? What is this lace thing that she's wearing? I want to know what the fuck what this is. What is this little netted fishnet? Yeah, like what is she wearing? So now there's a base layer option for accessories. I have no idea what this is, this netted one. I don't even know. Is it shorts? I can't tell. It was an accessory. Guys, it was an accessory. Who knows where that was? Is it leggings? Oh, it's in leggings! I found it. We have to get her nails back. Oh! This... Take me out! Her angle! Like, stop exposing her. Hi, Box. Welcome in, Box. Get your check-in box. Fishnet, pay me $500 and I'll wear it for you to your guys' work. Green walking in with fishnet. Zooming into the cheeks, like seeing all that. Is this the new Pokopia update? Yeah, this is Pikachu. Can't you tell? um, let's get her some pants. Vox, how are you doing? This is cute. I kind of like this for a formal outfit. She's presenting her research and also pranking everyone. Like, sure. And I'm sorry, she's going to defend her thesis in some beautiful shoes. Beautiful boobies. They're so long. You guys seen that video? Honestly, maybe she's just a Birkenstocks girl. And she just wears her Birkenstocks everywhere, even to work. The fit is cute. Vox, how are you doing this week? How was work this week? How are you feeling? She's so real for that. I think so. I think we're just gonna do Birkenstocks for every fit. Okay, she kind of ate. We're just gonna do the same accessories, yeah. Look at that. Okay. Okay. Girl, this is her workout outfit. Why is she in a puffer jacket? Be so serious. Think about you. This is her workout outfit, so we're also gonna take the bracelet off and I guess the necklace. This necklace is not bad, but oh, did I apply it to all the outfits though? I did, I think. Let's I actually really like this necklace. It's a whistle. It's a wooden whistle, but why not? She blows it at people to piss them off. The socks and sandals, like, was that how she was going to work out? Let's be so serious. Workout outfits are easy, like literally this or this. Those are like neon green though. Those are like lime green. Remember, the theme is mint. This is cute, but it's not mint. I don't see any mint. It's like the closest thing to mint we have. This is also mint adjacent. Like a mouth do. This is cute too. I guess this is like kind of mint. Batty to Saddy real quick. What if we get her in a full body fit? No, but I want green. Yeah, like that's not green, guys. I guess there's no full body fit we can put her in. What if she just works out in a little bata? I'm gonna take athletic off and see if we get more options. I do is think of you. I love this song too. I think of you. I think of you. I can't find any mint, guys. Like all this is so dark for green. I think we're just gonna have to go with this like bright color and then maybe a white tee. Oh, now what the heck is this? North, south, east, west coast, west coast, south, east, west coast. Like this is mint, but it never came up. This is a mint shirt. I do is think of you. I think of you. I do. All I do is think. Way this ass life. Oh, I forgot that she had the eggplant fit on. East, west coast, north, south, east, west coast. Like, oh, okay, I like that. And then I can put shorts underneath. Yes, and this is the one with the back out. Yep. Okay, I'm okay with that. West coast. I think this is cute. Let's find something a little bit more neutral. Yep, perfect. And then she's just gonna wear regular like sneakers. Yo, hey. Okay, now she can have the little hair cover up. But honestly, this might have a better color for her. She sleeps in something like this. And then like girl. Maybe we can give her the bata. There you go. I know you may get off at night. Maybe give her just like a true hair cover, little bonnet, little do rag. Oh, she could also wear a do rag. I could see her in a do rag. Wait, it's not true. Wait, I can see her in this do rag. Wait, and then we can give her some house shoes. Yeah, something like this. This is party outfit. So, no. This is cute. Oh, is that their green? This is cute, too, for her. I don't think she's a partier, you know? She's not the party girl. She goes out to have her drink and then she moves on. Girl, be so for real. Why do your other outfits stink when you started out a baddie? Yeah, like all these random ass outfits that they have her in. Like, don't do my girl like that. Is it mine? Look at that. Perfect. And honestly, a little swim cap? Way I kind of live. She's like, I am not getting this hair wet. I know I live on an island. Excuse me. I guess she would also like have a secondary fit that was more less of a bathing suit and more of like a yeah, something like that. Actually, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Not the first one. I like this better. It's like very employment. Like I'm working in my outfit. Yeah. Allie. Hot weather. Does this come in green? Where is it? Honestly, something like this. This makes sense. Backsies. Oh, what'd you have to get into, Skya? I hope you got it done fast. Or you did get it fast, but I hope you got it done. Allie, this is like the most committed I am to decisions. Are you proud of me? I finished my coffee. And then cold weather. Girl, if I have to take this head wrap off one more time. We have to come up with a name for her. That's cute. Does this come in the... Oh, this comes in mint. Yes, like this. This is so cute. And I guess it's a winter fit, so we should put her sneakers on. Put your sneakers on. It's sneaker night. Cute. Cute. Oh, not this. Not this. Not this. Here's some cute green ones here. Yes, look, she is such a baddie. She's so stylish too. I love her. Sorry, could you repeat that? I'm doing great. Thank you. I just said I hope that you got it done. Got whatever you had to do done. Honestly, a scientist I think would go like oh, and you can like write in the pronouns. Cause it would be like she, they. It's giving she, they. It's giving NB. It's giving she's a mischief scientist. She doesn't really have time for gender pronouns. She's just like, call me whatever you want. You know what I mean? But we'll give her she, her. And what's gonna be her name? What's gonna be her name? Let's hit the shuffle button and see what we come up with, and then maybe we'll come up with a better name. First shuffle. Oh no, Tacomo is like a funny. Leilani, that's a cute name. Tiara, not a tiara. Brittany, not a Brittany. especially spelled like that. Sasha. Sasha's a good name. Rhea. Brooklyn. Tyler. Maybe Taylor. Roxanne. Not Alexa. Not Christy. Margarita. One margarita. I'm a Kylie. That's an interesting way to spell it. I feel hungry. You should go get food, Saya. Francesca. Josephine. Nikita. Serena. Serena's a cute name too. I think I'm between Leilani, Serena. Ooh, I like those pants a lot. Aren't they cute? I think I like Leilani, I like Serena, and I like Taylor. Those are like the three names I'm thinking of. What do we feel? I need someone to make that decision for me. Those are my three options. Leilani? Yeah. Yeah. Oops, spelled it all fucked up. Okay. All right, guys, this is our sim. Look at her. She's so cute. It's giving Tropical Island. Yeah, let's get her out of this fit. Put her in her everyday wear. I think she would have a cat. I think I just like cats in this game because they're so low maintenance. They just walk around the house. So let's add a cat. It's like Dr. Evil. Like, I want to get a different species. Hold on. Where's that naked cat? This is, what is this? A Javanese? Siamese. Siamese would be cute. Or the Sphinx cat. Oh my god, she should totally have. I can see you thinking before pressing the button. A raccoon? Yeah! Should she have a raccoon? She's just not her in her Pocahontas bag where her a raccoon said, "I'm the raccoon cat." You are. I like Sphinx to give that. Well, that's not a Sphinx. Oh, this is cute too. Cute little cat. I think the Sphinx cat fits that like mad scientist vibe. But a raccoon also kind of fits like a comedy scientist. Like, think like Dr. Doofenshmirtz. You know, like somebody silly who has like an animal counterpart. You know, you're the raccoons guy. I love that little trash goblin, trash panda. Raccoon gives mischievous too. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Who? Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. No, anyway. Honestly, I'm down to go raccoon. He is a chunkers. We should make him chunky, and we should make him young, mischievous, territorial, fluffy. Oh no, he should be a glutton. He should be a glutton. Because he just gets in the trash, he eats. Chunky. No, baby. We'll name him Chunky. Chunky. And it's an animal, so instead of giving it gender markers, let's just call it a they. That's literally me. Let's make it a kitten. Oh, little baby raccoon. The chitter. Should we give him a collar? Oh, the kittens. The kittens can't wear clothes, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think the kittens can wear clothes. Hi, Anzi. What's up, Anzi? Welcome in. Hey, how you doing? We're starting our not so berry challenge in chat today. Girl, get that respect out of here. No. Okay, Chonke and Leilani. And this is her. This is she. Okay, let's get to moving. How are you doing, Anzi? Welcome in. How'd you find us today? Let's do an unfurnished. And then let's edit her. Let's play as her, and then we're gonna edit her house. Let's first find a job. Right? That's her. Let's look at the rules again. Master scientist career. Yeah, scientist's career. Great. I have 2 breakthroughs. Okay. Are there no lights? Oh, she has to bring. No, no, no! Don't go swimming. You have to take. Oh, they're chickens. Pick up. Oh, I can't even interact with them. I want to bring the raccoon up here, and we're gonna edit the house. Check. I think we're gonna keep the shape. I actually don't mind the shape of this. And it's just 1 floor, right? It's just a. Yeah, I actually like this a lot. It's really small and simple. I mean, it's just a single, you know? There's no lights or anything in it. I don't like this roof. Actually, the roof is not that terrible. We'll change things. Like, look at how cute these. Like, I love these open windows. I love how breezy it is in here. Just a reminder, there were 3 horses and 4 dogs living in this house. Like, I don't know how they all fit here. Okay, let's edit. Let's put on my cheats.
Boy.
And then I'm just gonna do BB enable free build. And we'll just edit it however we want. It's called the kinship. We'll just call it. How about this? We'll call it the Tacomo kinship. The house seems empty. I'm gonna make some food. Yeah, we're about to put her swimsuit to get into the house. Yeah, literally changing her swimsuit into her swimsuit to get in. All right, yeah. Where do we start? Let's. I like that tin roof. I don't mind this distressed wood either. Let's just see if there's something more neutral. Like I like the gray and green. I think that's like the vibe we're gonna go for. Ooh, the browns with it too are nice. I actually like the sand color too. Yeah, like this feels your life. Ooh, I like this cream sand color. You caught up. Maybe that'll be better. Oh, I already have that one on. Oh, this is the white. Yeah, I like that cream color better. Ooh, it's a wall. Why can't I clone the wall? Ooh, wood paneling would be nice. Oh, it's this one that they have. It's like a rattan. Ooh, I like that. I like that, actually. Oh, the dormer is always that. Oh no, there you go. It's a dormer. Goodbye. We'll come up with another one. Maybe we don't need a dormer. How about that? No need to overcomplicate things. Okay, I'm already liking it better. Especially if we have to add green to the house. I don't want it to be super dark. Oh, there's no ceiling with that. I think the exterior is pretty good. I'm not mad at any of this. Maybe the siding. Oh, that's better. That's way better. That's way more cohesive with. Oh, we could also add that up here. Wait, I like that. And then having this be less distressed for the tire. I actually like that. Isn't that so cute? Oh, that's way better. Look at this. Much better styling. Exactly, Ali. See, this is why I need you here. Oh my god, I hate that the camera does that. Is it because I have the... No, because I need that level. Sometimes I'm always curious, like, how these builds are made, because why is it that this isn't a room? Okay, that feels better to me. All right, time to interior decorate. Yay! She needs logic, skill, and mischief. We're just gonna make it brighter in here so that we can tell me what oh, I'm an idiot sandwich. I'm not even on this level. There you go. Now the lights will work. I like the little pocket lights at the corners of the builds. Just to add some brightness so it can help me work better. One in the shame. Okay, let's think about the way this house looks. What is the point of this door if there's no door leading inside? Now, where did this door go? Like, what is the point of this? I think we should just make one of these smaller. Like, where did that all go? What happened to the room? Like, that's the thing about the Sims, like, default builds, is that they're built so weird. Like, why are these all separate rooms put into one? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, this is one room that someone just, they were like, oh, we're just gonna close it. What do you mean? I think I want to do a, yeah, a spandrel. Moment. Fucking moment. It's your motherfucking moment. Oh, we have to filter green. There we go. We got green. Motherfucking moment. Motherfucking moment. It's your motherfucking moment. I didn't realize the filter resets. Ooh. I like this. Like, I don't understand how they built this. Sometimes it makes me just wanna redo the whole thing, like bulldoze it. Mhm. 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 This is clearly the bedroom. This is the bathroom. From her mama. Fucking right. Down. Something. Tonight. Fantasy. Right. Tonight. On my mama, on my hood, I look fly, I look good. You can't touch my bag. Good, fly, I look too good. Put that on my mama, on my hood. I look fly, I look good. You can't touch my bag. Fly, I look too good on my hood. I look fly. I look good. Catch my swag. Wish you could. I look good. Leave in my bag. Peppermint. Heaven sent. Stupid. Stupid. Does relevant cause I from behind mirror I didn't even try lie on my hood I look fly I look good I love the song good fly I look too good mama on my hood I look fly good you can't touch my bag wish you could I look too good on my hood. I look fly. I look good. My swag. Wish you could. I look. I look. My hood. I look fly. I look good. I know you wish you could. I look too good. Ba 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 da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba da ba ba ba. On my feet. I look fly. I look good. I know you wish you could. I love that song. Okay, time for decorating. All right, we got this done. We'll make that a little office. I don't like this anymore. I want something simpler. Yeah, something like that. So let's start with her bedroom. Bedrooms are easy to decorate. I'm comfortable. First of all, baby. Honestly, with the canopy, I like that. I think it probably needs to go like this. Then let's do comfortable. First of all, baby. Oh, that's huge. Oh, I like that cute little mirror. I also, guys, I live, laugh, love a fan in The Sims. The two corners. I think we're just gonna throw whatever fits in here, right? Because like all this is gonna be so big. Don't get shy on me now. There's no room in this room. That makes any sense. Oh my god. See, like this isn't even a room. I don't know why it doesn't count as a room. I don't understand how this happens to builds in this game. Maybe we can fit a dresser in here. Maybe it doesn't have to be in her bedroom. Let's see, what interesting science. Oh, this is cute. All right, it unlocked all these things because they have green. They all have green in them. That's so hilarious. Maybe this fern. This is cute. This is cute for a bedroom. Maybe a little rug. Oh, nice. Ooh, this geode one is cute. Hold on. That's cute. Yeah. I love it. Isn't it so cute? It's not giving mad scientist. It's giving more girly pop, but I think she's a mad scientist in disguise. You know what I mean? Like she's not quite. She's unassuming. Like people don't expect her to be evil. How about that? Cause we fine. Ugh, the design doesn't fit, but that would be a good corner. I thought that was the door. Oh, imagine. Oh, this is cute. It's like kind of like a. Well, this could go out there. Like maybe against the bathroom. Yeah, that's better. That's cute. There's a clutter option in the kids' room. Then we can just stack stuff. Like, look at that. So cute. And a tissue box. Oh, it can fit perfectly under the thing. Maybe in the middle. Look at that. Shoes under the dresser. Ooh, yeah, towel holder. Barricade. Yeah, like this is cute. You thought I was just putting it in front. Maybe a pillow? The pillow's cute though. I'm gonna try to get something sciencey. What if I search science? Did I really just search science? I did. A hover lamp. I'm sorry, that looks cool. Oh look, we found a poster. How about this right here? Super vent, designed to ventilate any system to max ventilation. This fan will keep going even when you tell it to stop. It's so random. Oh look, we can put a little telescope here. Oh, she's looking up at the volcano, guys. I think this is an excellent place for her to live. Can we go back to clutter? Jar 4 marbles. There aren't any marbles in it yet. Oh, what if we give her a little bonsai? Wait, that's so cute. Okay, I think we're set up with her here. Maybe a lamp, and then we'll be good with her bedroom. This is cute. Maybe some like cute little. Oh, these are floor lights. Like this is cute too, but I don't like that there's pink in it. I don't know. I like the side table, and it matches the front. Like they're in the same collection. Ooh, my kind of zen. Yes, even though it legit is on fire. Let's figure that out. That's better. Oh, I like this. Okay, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. Period. Okay, bedroom is done. I'm happy with that. Bathroom is next. Next easiest thing to do. I think we're gonna keep it real simple in the bathroom. We're gonna literally make everything green if we can help it, as long as it's mint, you know. I like a tub idea. A little tub and then a sink. Oh, that's not gonna work because of the door. So maybe we can do this. But then there's no toilet. So we can't do this. Toilet in. Okay, the toilet does not have to be green. Let's be so serious. That toilet looks gross. I always get the most expensive toilets. The slate one. Like I find this toilet to be nicer. Just fully walking in on somebody pooping. Yeah, let's put a mirror in here. Here, we can put a green mirror. There were some cute green options. Yeah, like this is cute. And then a towel rack. Hi Ryan, welcome in. How are you doing? You're just in time. We have about 20 minutes left to stream before I have to go to be busy. No, I don't like that. Sometimes I overclutter, guys. Can you believe that? Ryan, how are you doing today? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Not you. You could choke. Good morning. Just kidding. No more. That's cute there. I like that. And honestly, let's look for more clutter because there's some cool, like, nice clutter that we can put here. Like, I almost prefer this over this. And then oh, he's a simmer now. Now, what do you mean? I'm not new to this. I'm true to this, okay? I love Sims. I love Sims. I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Thank you for your check-in. I'm doing okay. This is literally I woke up, I got dressed, and I literally started playing Sims. I got coffee, made breakfast, played Sims. Today's my day off, so oh wait, this is cute too. Hold up, wait a minute, let me put some coochie in it. Oh, I don't know what happened to my camera there. That's cute. That's cute. Guys, this is just turning into like the cutest, maybe not so close to the tub. Maybe there. And then we have to put a light in here. Ryan, how was your week? Ooh, that's cute. To have here. And then a fan. We have the fan have a fan everywhere, you know why? Because it's hot. It's an island. Like every room's gonna have a fan, you know? I wanna put the same exact fan. Does it even fit in here? Oh my god, it's so big for the room. No, it's too big. No fan. No fan. Take it out. I take it back. I take it back. No fan. Wait, I like that light though. Maybe we can put a light. Fun little island light. Like a hanging light. Hmm. This is cute. That's huge though for the room. What's something like this? How big is this? That's so big for the room too. It also makes that room so bright. Honestly, that should be fine. We have enough lights in there. It's been a week. Glad it's the weekend. I'm glad it's the weekend too. Are you having a long weekend? Like, do you have Monday off? Do you have any plans for Memorial Day? Also, Ali, I don't know if I asked you this yesterday, but what are your Memorial Day I guess now we can go for. We could probably put this here. Kitchen. There's no space for a living room, to be honest, but we don't need a living room. We're a mad scientist. We have the beach. Why do I need a living room and a TV when I have a boat and a beach? You know what I mean? All right, let's get this kitchen done. We're doing a not so berry challenge. This is the first time I'm doing this, Ryan. I didn't put that counter there, right? Yep. So now we can use it for the kitchen. We're starting off our first legacy or our first generation with our homegirl. Oh, I wish it wasn't tall like that. Don't cut up. I'm heading back home for a show tonight and then seeing Fan tomorrow. Oh, nice. Where's home, Ryan? I unfortunately have to work this weekend, but on Sunday it's my friend's housewarming party, so I'll be there. I got Nola's slide pool with like sprinkler things and stuff, but it's been cold. She wants to use it so bad. Yeah, I hope it's nice out there this weekend. We have been getting just as much cold too, so I completely get that. Nola's probably like pissed. Come over. I didn't know there were green ovens, so this is really forcing me to like. I kind of like that. I think that's fine. A little island situation. I don't even care that it's clipping there. I do care actually. Sorry, I care. I care that it clips. It pisses me off. This looks terrible. I think it's this thing. I'm gonna have to take this out, I think. Like as fun as that is on all the walls, it really is messing up the feng shui. Cut up me. Oh my god, just I'm done with this cold, girl. Oh, are you is it cold by you too, Ryan? Dude, I'm over it. I was just joking with my boss yesterday, like we've had 8 months of winter. Like we didn't have spring and we barely had fall. No. Oh my god. I still can't get used to like my keyboard placement. No, I'm not obsessed with any of this. Here, let's just do this like I planned on. We'll put a window. She doesn't have the space for anything, you know what I mean? What windows do we have over here? Yeah, something like this. Yeah, I like that. That's not bad. I'm sorry. This is when I start to crash out, y'all. Ryan, have you ever done a legacy challenge? Everything about this game crash makes me crash out. Ali, I don't know if you can find it in my clips, but if you want to share that video of me literally crashing out on stream, I literally you can watch my eyes dilate in panic as I'm trying to pick windows. But yeah, I'm in Chicago. Oh yeah. I think we talked about this too, where we're not very far from each other. But I have my air on 2 days ago, and now I want my heat on. Ryan, I can't explain enough how frustrating it is to have this weather be so inconsistent. And I'm sure you understand, like being in the Midwest too, you know. But I think I knew this about you. I feel like you've definitely told me, and I apologize if I forget anything. I'm very forgetful, and it's not intentional. I'm just my mind is never really clear anymore. I don't know why. Well, yeah, I think it's the anxiety, guys. I think it's the mental health. I think it's my mental health waning at every possible moment. It's psychosis. I used to do legacy challenges a lot, but I can't get into gameplay anymore. Really, I feel like I find myself back at The Sims all the time, and I don't mind it. Like I really do love The Sims and enjoy it a lot. This is cute. Like I'm not mad at this at all. She does have an office, so maybe we can put a computer and a desk in here. Burglar alarm, guys. Party girls, all lighting up the world. Hi, hi. I love this song too. Ash, happy Friday. Welcome in, Ash. It's been too long. Ash, I don't know if you were in stream yesterday lurking, but we played until dawn yesterday, and the way I was actually frightened was crazy. We also may have killed someone that was important to the story, and it was a mistake. I was like nervously shaking my leg. I kept knocking out around. Oh no, it's okay. Get your sleep. I don't even blame you. I totally understand being asleep early, friend. Like, get your sleep. Oh, let's give her a little rocking chair. Right by this window. The party girls all into the world. Let's give it for the party girls all lighting up the world. I, 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 This is cute. Little reading nook. Alright, now let's get the office done. And that's probably all we have time for today, is just redecorating the house. But now we have a challenge to start, so now I can play Sims on stream more. We can get through the legacy challenge with her. I think that'd be fun. Get some clips out of it. Get a little story going with her. Wouldn't that be fun? I'm kind of obsessed with her already, so it is what it is. Party good around the world. Party. I take girls who like to party. I like the girls who we like to party. The girls who I like the girls we like to party. I like that song a lot. R&B today was a vibe. Oh, the fish one. I forgot about this fish one, but it hangs so low. The fish one would look cute here. That's cute, right? Yes, watch the VOD. Nola didn't have school today, and with the holiday weekend, I risked it and stayed up. Yes, but yesterday was so scary, wasn't it, Ali? Literally, like, yesterday was scary, but, like, action-packed. So I actually didn't mind how much was going on. So I was like, oh, that story is actually progressing. Like, I actually understand what's happening in the world. Like, I'm understanding the appeal. Rebellious. This is what they climb out of to sneak out of the house. Just a bunch of green shit everywhere. We need to put a logic thing, a logic activity. We can also make her crochet. We can make her a little wholesome. She can be like a fake mean, you know what I mean? Like she's like, I'm here for the people, but I like a prank or two. I don't think she can get to it if it's behind the chair, so we'll just shove it in front of the bookcase, right? And then I'm looking for the chessboard. I'm looking for a man in finance. I redeemed jump. Yes, literally, I was so scared from the jump scare. Is it indoor activities maybe? Oh, maybe because I have. Where are the chess sets? Oh, here you go. Oh, this is cute. This hand carved one. Also gold leaf. Oh, interesting. I like this one. It's like hand carved one. What color is it? We can have her chest set be outside because it literally doesn't fit. Don't know if you got it, girl. Oh. Honestly, on the side of her office kind of makes sense. And the last thing I'm gonna add is like a little dining area right outside this right. I wonder if you even notice me. And you gotta feel me. Do you love me, girl? Just wanna be your girl. You even notice me? Oh, me. Just wanna be your girl. Just wanna be your girl. Of course, I'm adding a million other things, but I can't help it. Guys, are we surprised? I wonder. All right. Oh, and we need a. I almost forgot. We have a cat, or a raccoon rather. We have to add a cat bowl, and a litter box. Just wanna be your girl. Wonder if you even notice me. You gotta feel me. Just wanna be your girl. I wonder. We'll have him have a little outdoor set. And the food bowl. And then there was something else I wanted to add for the cat. Oh, a bed. Add a bed for the cat. I forgot we had a cat. There you go. Perfect. 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 This place is so cute. Darlene, thank you for the check-in. Thank you guys for being here. We have a raccoon. Yes. All right. Let's have her come inside her house. Here, let's turn on her fan. This is our new legacy challenge, guys. Um, hey Leilani, come here. Come here, girly. Here, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Look at her. Look at her walking. Change outfit. Let's change into her summer outfit. Let's go in here. Let's fill and call Chunky to eat. And let's sit in the rocking chair. Oh, she walked right through the door. Love that. Love that. Love that the door's broken. Love that the door's broken. Like, what happened here? Guys, we are starting this legacy challenge. She is a baddie. Yeah, we have a baddie. Darlene, I'm so happy you're here. Welcome in. Darlene, thank you for the link to the Latin Guild app too. No, girl. We're not done rocking. We're not done rocking. Come back. Come back. This is what you can stay rocking. A baddie scientist, yeah. So we're doing our not so berry challenge, which is like a little Simsy legacy challenge. We've never actually completed a generation challenge before, so I'm actually really excited to do this with her. This is our little baddie Leilani. Allie really helped get her together. She's a mischievous scientist who loves green, mint to be specific. So there's a lot of mint in the house. Hi, Charlie. Good morning. We're just about to wrap up. We just played Sims for a bit. I can't stream for very long today. I have some stuff I have to get done, but Chunky, yeah, we have Chunky as a glutton pet. We'll look at Chunky. Chunky's a little raccoon, and that's our pet. Look at him, so cute. But yeah, we'll be starting this challenge on stream now. So now we can all hang out and get to know Leilani a bit better and try to get this challenge done. I think we're just gonna have a silly goofy time just doing her challenge. Maybe we have to have kids, so we'll see. We'll see how it all turns out. I'm so excited. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here and hanging out with me this morning. I know it's an early one, but I don't know. That's my schedule right now. So earlier on Fridays works better for me. I'm so happy you all here. Before we end, you have to get your check-in. Make sure you add to that counter. That means you, Charlie, get your check-in. Just kidding. I hope everyone has a great rest of your Friday. And tomorrow we're actually doing a duo day with Kevin, and we're playing Peak on stream, which I kind of announced yesterday and in Discord. We'll be live in the evening tomorrow, playing Peak and chilling and vibing. Yes, with the 5 times check-in. Charlie, Allie, Darlene, Ryan, Ash. I hope you all have a great Friday. Mwah. I hope you all have a great Friday, and thank you all so much for being here. I'm not gonna raid out today. I think I'm just gonna end, but I hope you all have the best day today and the best day tomorrow, and I hope the weather turns out for everybody. Stream is only fun because people are here to hang out with me, so I'm so grateful that you guys spend your morning with me and that you're not tired of me yet. I appreciate you all for being here. Darlene, again, yeah, thank you for the link to the Latin Guild application. And I have to make sure I fill that out. I got sidetracked trying to get it done. So I would really love to join the guild. It would be really cool.